In 1996, Dragon Ball Z made its first debut in American television, and, due to it being more popular than its predecessor, Funimation opted to skip translating original Dragon Ball, and, did I mention that it inspired the author of Naruto? Oh geez, I had this entire history lesson on how influential Dragon Ball was to anime's popularity planned, but Bird just stole my notes. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Let's just dive in. Hello everyone. My name is Sir Rambles-on-Alot, but you can call me Rambles-on. If you're here watching this, you already know anime wouldn't be what it is in the West today if it weren't for Dragon Ball. This arc specifically. The arc that begged the question, is family something you're born into, or is it something you shape along the way? The arc where a very loose adaptation of Journey to the West changed to a sci-fi space opera that changed the trajectory of manga and anime writing forever. Let's dive in. We open on a shot of a tranquil landscape. When we last saw Goku and friends, approximately 1 week ago if you were a little Japanese kid reading this weekly, Goku had won the Strongest Under the Heavens martial arts tournament, symbolizing there were no hurdles left on Earth for him to overcome. And this view of a peaceful world shows that he's kept the world safe from any dangers that have arisen since then. If you were an American, and episode 1 of the Raditz Saga was your first introduction to the series, this is still made clear to you. This is a calm world, but the mysterious object crashing from the sky, destroying the landscape in the process, shows that the peace is about to be a distant memory. The mysterious object was a spaceship, and a warrior wearing a weird belt steps out. We don't know who this guy is, but we can immediately tell he doesn't belong. Everything about him clashes with what we're expecting from Dragon Ball villains. Previous villains were adorned in Chinese-style robes, while this guy wears battle armor. Some of the most memorable villains were bald, but this guy has a huge canopy of hair. He doesn't wait long to tell us what he's here for, cursing some unknown person named Kakarot for failing to kill all humans, and showing that he intends to right this wrong by killing the first Earthling he meets. Fun fact, the anime actually had this guy make appearances later on, indicating that he survived a bullet to the head. All those farmer with the shotgun jokes might not actually be baseless. With a homicide casually committed, this new warrior detects a life form with a high power level and decides to check it out. And without even scratching the surface of a new era of Dragon Ball, we already have so many questions. Where did this mysterious warrior come from? Who is Kakarot? What are power levels? Well, that last one's actually kinda obvious. It's the level of your power. But we still have some serious questions. Our new threat is clear, and he flies over towards the highest power level that he detects, but it turns out it's Piccolo. And here we address our first problem. The translation of the first few volumes of Dragon Ball are incredibly janky, with the most obvious example being Piccolo talking like a Shakespearean-era knight. This isn't even a creative liberty, like how Chi-Chi's hick accent required some creativity to translate into English. There's nothing in the original Japanese to suggest Piccolo talked like a poet. If anything, Piccolo's accent should be much more gruff due to living in isolation his entire life. The rest of the cast doesn't fare much better either, as they all talk like they're fresh out of a trailer park in southern Arkansas. I wish there was someone we could lay the blame on here. The translation work for the entire Dragon Ball Z manga was done by Lillian Olsen, who also translated the Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter manga. But I don't think this was entirely her fault. Editing and quality control for the first 5 volumes of the English release was done by Trish Ladeau. Ultimately, not catching this falls on her. But it's also possible she was just trying her best to comply with Viz standards. The bird bought my notes back. You see, Dragon Ball had a history of swinging and missing in America before it found its foothold. Dragon Ball first completed its journey to the West in 1989 when Harmony Gold released the first 5 episodes of the original series dubbed into English.
Jump me from behind, huh? I don't know what kind of monster you are, but come out of your shell. Look, think we can settle this out of court?
They noticeably replaced the names of every main character with a Western name to appeal to American audiences. This release was a money fire and burned all American companies off Dragon Ball for 6 years until 1995, when Funimation would try again, this time skipping all of OG Dragon Ball and starting with Z, using a group of voice actors who would come to be known as the Ocean Group. However, this release was a money fire. There were a handful of other false starts until eventually everyone involved was prepared to just wash their hands of it, so this release was probably Dragon Ball's last shot to make it in the West. I like to think any changes weren't made out of malice, but out of a want for the series to succeed. Whether or not that's a valid excuse to change the source material, or even if the source material has the burden of changing to fit into a market that's rejecting it in the first place, is all a matter of personal opinion. This is a very emotionally weighted conversation that tends to bring out the worst in people, so I'll save it for a later date. Back to the manga. Raditz reads Piccolo's power level, and states that while it's impressive for an Earthling, it's still nothing in the grand scheme of things. This gives us our first taste of the lunch we're about to have handed to us. Piccolo, the man who pushed Goku to limits never before seen, is nothing compared to this latest threat. And once more, this isn't some vague evil that we have time to stop and train for. It's at our front door, and it is angry. While revisiting the source material, I realized the reason Raditz got Piccolo so twisted here was probably because no one had ever smack-talked him before like this in his life. Think about it. He was leagues above every Earthling for years, and Goku was too nice to ever talk back to him. So this was the first time he ever had to deal with disrespect. And disrespect it was. Piccolo shows us the literal definition of catching a stray. Raditz flies off and confirms what the audience was probably expecting. The Kakarot he's looking for is none other than Goku. And when he finds him, Goku will be forced to choose between the path life has chosen for him since birth and the one he's decided to forge with his own hands. And we pick back up with the Dragon Team, or the Z-Warriors, or the just stall him until Goku gets here committee, whichever you prefer. And we learn that Yamcha is being Yamcha. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse any longer. I like Yamcha. He's not a loser for trying to improve himself, but getting a little overambitious and taking on foes beyond him. He's a loser for fumbling the richest girl on the planet. My final copium is that the character profiles in the beginning of Volume 2 list Yamcha as Bulma's ex-boyfriend. Hey, it's not like you can cheat on someone if you were on a break. This is the only way I can twist the logic to make Yamcha out as anything other than an immature loser. Goku rolls up on the flying Nimbus and... oh man, why Toriyama? You had the perfect everyman protagonist and you ruined it by giving him a kid. How can I project myself on someone happily married with a good family situation? At least I still have Krillin as representation. In all seriousness though, I was shocked by this when I first saw it. It seemed like Goku's journey had just barely gotten started, but he already had a family to think about. Something most shonen series save for the horrendously rushed epilogue chapter. And once more, he's given him Grandpa Gohan's name. A very sweet tribute to the man responsible for teaching Goku compassion over violence. Gohan is an interesting foil to Goku himself. On one hand, we have a Saiyan raised as an Earthling, and on the other, a Saiyan with Earthling genetics also raised as an Earthling. And the Earthling genetics have tamed the Saiyan ADHD genetics. When we first met Goku, he had a loud personality. He said whatever was on his mind with no filter, and he had a commanding presence that made him the biggest one in the room, despite being the smallest. Gohan is this in reverse. He's quiet. He doesn't speak unless he's spoken to. And he's so mild-mannered, it's easy to completely forget about him, as he blends into the background once Raditz shows up. Despite his tail being confirmation Saiyan blood flows through him, he doesn't have the lust for battle, as Chi-Chi is trying to give him a normal upbringing. Though I'm just restating the obvious here, Gohan really is like if a human had the power of a Saiyan. Also, it's amazing that Goku chooses to dress him like Chow Wow, since that's his only frame of reference for how a tiny, little man is supposed to look. Goku's spidey sense tingles, and he soon finds out why. The mysterious space warrior descends upon him. He calls out to Goku, calling him Kakarot, and claims that Goku looks just like his father. It's this line that makes me wonder if even up until this point, Toriyama wasn't sure if he wanted Raditz to be Goku's brother, or just a plot device. Toriyama was notorious for making it all up as he went along. Krillin mistakes Raditz for a tweaker and tells him to shove off. Man, it is a good thing that humans got in some training with Kami after this, because not being able to sense ki nearly cost Krillin his life. Turns out that mysterious belt was no belt. It was a tail, confirming whatever this new warrior is, he's like Goku and Gohan. This immediately boosts attention. We used to think the Grade 8 form was something special to Goku. It was never given a real explanation. It was just something to give our main character a bit more flair, while also acting as a get-out-of-jail-free card. Did you step to someone outside your weight class? No problem. Just return to monk. But now, it's clear that other people can have tails. And our enemy has a get-out-of-jail-free card, while ours has been revoked. This mysterious warrior has been throwing the supporting cast around like ragdolls. So if he decides to Mega Evolve, will our main cast even have a ghost of a chance? Raditz realizes that Goku doesn't recognize him or the name Kakarot, and chalks it up to trauma-induced amnesia. And that's when Master Roshi shares the heartwarming story of gross child neglect that resulted in Goku being who he is today. And to tell the truth, I don't get why Toriyama bothered with this amnesia plotline. Goku was a baby. He couldn't have had that many memories he needed to forget. Wouldn't it have been a bigger showcase of Goku's character if after being treated with compassion for the first time, he realized being bad doesn't feel good and decided to be nice like Grandpa Gohan? Give a good, nice explanation for why Goku looks for the good in people. But, oh well. I guess child abuse it is.
We here at Team 4-Star do not condone child violence. We do, however, find it hilarious.
Goku doesn't trust Raditz, saying just looking at him makes his hair stand on end. And that's never happened before. Buddy? Have you ever looked in a mirror? And Raditz drops the reveal that would change the way the rest of the series unfolded. Goku is no human. He is in fact a lost member of one of the strongest alien races in the universe, the Saiyans. Okay, it's time to touch the stove. So many people consider Goku being a Saiyan so intertwined with Dragon Ball's identity that I don't even think it registers. This was a very bold creative decision that's still open to scrutiny, like all other creative decisions. Toriyama has said that he didn't decide Goku and Piccolo would be aliens until the chapter where Kami debuted. This is a problem because several times throughout the story, Goku has been symbolic of the indomitable human spirit, and Goku being an alien kinda spits on that. At best, you could say it's a testament to the humans' humanity that they were able to make Goku feel welcome enough among them that as an alien, he would go to bat for them. In other words, Superman. But having another alien fix our alien problems doesn't speak well about the indomitable human spirit. Once more, this calls all of Goku's training montages into question. Can we really say that Goku got stronger through his own hard work if he had super genetics making sure getting stronger was part of his personality? Well, yes and no. Yes, in the sense that I do think Goku's progress is a lot less admirable compared to a character like Krillin, who didn't have super genes helping him out, but no in the sense that Goku doesn't completely reap the benefits of being a Saiyan. Let me explain. In my Piccolo Jr. Saga review, which you should check out by the way, I went into how the Yuzaru was a cheat code for Saiyans. It made it easy for them to pop down on a planet with a moon, bust out the Yuzaru, and ride the Yuzaru power multiplier to victory. There was no courage involved here, no risk of falling in battle. The Saiyans are a warrior race. They are also, in many ways, cowards for depending on the Yuzaru for their success. Goku getting rid of his tail symbolizes rejecting that cowardice. He made the choice to get stronger by his own hand, and shedding that cowardly nature was what made him a true Earthling. Not losing his tail like Raditz said. If you need more proof, just look at Raditz himself. Raditz is a big hypocrite. He spouts on about his Saiyan pride, but he's a coward when he fights, taking a kid hostage instead of just running his odds with Goku with full force. He also has to beg and grovel for Goku not to kill him to regain the advantage in their fight. The only thing you need to know to judge Raditz's character is that he's the only Saiyan who was too lazy to train his tail. Goku, Nappa, and Vegeta all got rid of this weakness. Despite having Saiyan genes that could make him one of the strongest creatures in all of existence, he never took advantage of them. His teammates dwarfed him in power, even pointing out how he was weaker than the literal grunts they brought along to move their furniture and stuff. In the piece de resistance, Raditz never properly trained. If he did, he would have a signature move. But he doesn't. He only ever uses generic ki blasts, never having an original technique to call his own. And this was all done very purposefully. If Toriyama had depicted Saiyans as this giga-chad race of gym bros that does nothing but work out and aura farm all day, Goku might actually think, HFIL yeah, that looks awesome, sign me right up for Saiyan Academy. But he doesn't. He makes it clear that Raditz, and the rest of the Saiyans by extension, are bullies who think they deserve to be able to boss others around simply because of the way they were born. And anyone who knows Goku knows that he's no fan of bullies. So he tells Raditz to get lost. But it's not that simple, you see. Raditz is Goku's brother.
You're his brother, huh? Wow, that must mean you'll be involved in a lot of future events, right? Right?
This complicates things. Family is a touchy subject for Goku. Losing Grandpa Gohan without getting to say goodbye left him with deep attachment issues for years that made him desperate to hold on to his only reminder of his loving grandpa. To make matters worse, their entire species has been killed and their home planet was destroyed. Besides those dudes, of course. But for all Goku knows, he and Raditz are the last pure-blooded Saiyans alive. Finding family he didn't know he had might have been a dream come true for Kid Goku, who had a magnetic personality and was constantly looking for people to click with. But adult Goku says no. He has a wife and a son, and more friends than he knows what to do with. That's who he considers his blood. Not someone who just showed up and started bossing him around. Real life isn't so simple, though. We learn that Saiyans were a bloody race, who committed atrocities on a scope so wide it's hard for humans to even comprehend it. The blood of the people who committed those atrocities is the same blood that flows through Goku's veins. Even if he's disowned his family, he can't disown his history. Raditz isn't satisfied with Goku's answer, and takes young Gohan hostage, delivering an ultimatum. Goku joins him and helps him exterminate Earth, or dies in the extermination. But either way, Earth is cooked. And to make matters worse, we find out the Dragon Balls can't bring someone back to life once they've already died. Meaning our supporting cast is benched, and Goku will be facing this fight alone. Except, he's not alone. A former antagonist wants to join the fray. Piccolo appears, claiming he can't let the Earth be destroyed before he has a chance to conquer it.
What has the galaxy ever done for you? Why would you want to save it? Because I'm one of the idiots who lives in it!
This is where we see the birth of one of my favorite tropes in all of fiction. Enemies to love, defeat equals friendship. You gotta admit, no matter what walk of life you come from, it's heartwarming to see someone turn their life around and become a force for good. And I'm very glad other manga authors took this trope to heart and added it to their own story. I'll never forget how JoJo Lands even calls out this trope on a meta level, with the character Paco Lovelantis asking Jodio not to kill their first ally because he wants to add them to the team. And Jodio's just like, what are you talking about? That's not how that works. And Paco's just like, sure it is. I don't know, I just think it's funny. Back to brass tacks. Like I've said before, this is the first time Piccolo's gotten a taste of his own medicine. He's never had to live with the knowledge he's only alive because an extremely powerful and malicious being hasn't had a particular reason to slime him. This has made him realize what all those humans were feeling years ago. And he's kind of realized it's not a very nice feeling, so maybe he shouldn't go around spreading it. This lesson sinks in so well that by the time he starts prattling on about world domination in the Cell Saga, everyone's just like, psh, yeah right, you're way too nice of a dude to hurt anyone anymore. So Piccolo declares this rivalry off until they beat this great Saiyan man.
Say that again?
Uncle Yusuke puts Baby in the corner and says the needs of the body must be met. So, did he mean food, sleep, or... But something isn't right. Raditz begins with the Dragon Ball classic of claiming the Scouter must be broken just because it detected someone stronger than him. But it's no broken Scouter. Gohan's power level is over double what Goku's was, at just 4 years old. This was a very bold and risky move from Toriyama that risked backfiring in a major way if he botched Gohan's character. To be honest, I'm still not sure if he completely nailed what he was shooting for. But more on that later. Goku and Piccolo were rushing into battle. Let's stop for a minute and take inventory, because I feel like we just got so much information chucked at us. So far, we've met a new threat, been introduced to the new power system, learned Goku has a son, learned Goku's son is a monster despite never training, learned Goku is an alien, learned Goku has an alien brother, learned that Goku and Goku's alien brother's alien race are a race of space pirates that raid, pillage, and plunder, learned that said space pirates died when their planet was exploded, learned that the tail that made Goku a were-monkey is actually just a trait all members of this species have, learned that the Dragon Balls can't grant the same wish twice, meaning everyone practically only has one continue before they run out of lives, and learned that Goku's alien brother is now going to cleanse the Earth, and all before the end of Chapter 5. And people call Dragon Ball slow? Nah, that's Toei's bad for ruining such a fast-paced manga. Wait a minute. Alien sent to Earth as a baby, rest of the species died, relative who is also an alien survivor, enemy who is green, bald? Yeah, this is just Superman. It's pretty hard to hide that Toriyama wanted to shake things up and drew heavy inspiration from Superman. It's not a bad thing either. Superman is an incredibly worthy source to draw inspiration for making a hero that symbolizes hope. So this is just my request as a humble Dragon Ball fan. Can we chill out with the Goku versus Superman argument? Just a bit. Back to the battle, our heroes pull up.
I give it an 8.5!
Hey, what? Oops.
I'd just like to point out that when pressed, Goku dodges the question to keep the secret of the Dragon Balls hidden, while later, Piccolo folds under zero pressure and lets the truth out. Meaning in this instance, Goku was smarter than Piccolo. That's got to be humbling to realize. Goku and Piccolo strip, and this is where we get our first indicator that power levels are deceptive and an unreliable source for judging our opponent's true strength, with Goku putting a very fine point on it, saying power isn't everything. And our two main characters coming out on top despite having a lower power level shows that a win is not guaranteed, even if your number is higher. Sadly, the fanbase did not get the memo. In all honesty, Toriyama sent mixed messages with telling us if we should trust power levels or not, so I don't blame fans for getting it twisted. I have an entire power level rant plan for my Frieza Saga vid, so if you don't want to miss that, hit subscribe and ring the notification bell. Plus check out my Discord so you never miss an upload. With the shameless plug out of the way, let's get back into it. Raditz starts schooling these guys, and the way he fights is just more evidence that he's a coward, hitting from the back, instead of facing his enemies head-on. And as if things couldn't get more dire, Raditz reveals that even if the day is saved, he and Goku aren't the last full-blooded Saiyans. Two more whose power level dwarves Raditz's will be on the way. Okay, this is bad. Raditz arrived like a hurricane, and now two Saiyans who might not have slacked off on their training, unlike Raditz, are inbound. By dropping this reveal mid-fight, Toriyama has masterfully hooked the readers, ensuring anyone who might have dropped the manga because of the new alien reveal stays fully invested. Now we have to see how Earth will rise above these alien monsters. Still, Goku doesn't care, because he's only focused on getting his son back. Goku is not acting like himself this arc. Instead of his usual reaction of being happy that he has a new strong guy to fight, and starting Raditz down the 12-step program of turning him from a bad guy to a good guy, he's been angry this entire time, and it's reflected in his fighting style. He drops the weights and takes his final form off the rip. Can you ever name a time where an anime character went final form off the rip and shit wasn't getting real? And it's all for one reason. Raditz hit the sun button, and you never mess with Goku's kids if you want to see tomorrow. See everyone who says Goku was a bad dad? Not only does this arc show that Goku quit fighting, the thing he loved most in life, to be with Gohan, except maybe for some light training on the weekends to keep Piccolo in check. Goku's not enjoying himself in this fight with his kid in danger. I have an entire rant on whether or not Goku is a bad dad planned for my Cell Saga video, so if you don't want to miss that, wait a minute, I did this already. So Raditz is combo juggling these two like there's no tomorrow. Even with the two of them together, they can't scratch him. Luckily, Piccolo has a new move. I've said it before, but I'm saying it again. Piccolo's ability to think of new techniques for dealing with opponents is heavily underrated. Be it the special beam cannon to punch outside his weight class, the Hellzone grenade to deal with the androids, or the special beam cannon stretchy arm combo to deal with opponents who outspeed him, Piccolo is quite the craftsman of new techniques. Only problem is, it takes a minute to charge, and now they're short-handed. So Goku takes advantage of the Saiyan's kryptonite and grabs Raditz's tail. And this moment is all you need to know that Goku has rejected his Saiyan nature. In order to save his own life, Raditz appeals to the part of Goku that always looks for the good worth saving in people. A nature that wouldn't exist in a member of the cold-blooded warrior race that treats their own family like roommates. It was only by living with Earthlings and learning from Grandpa Gohan did Goku come to realize the value of family. And now he has a choice. Does he try to hold on to the family he was born into? Does he pick the family he's built for himself? That's the biggest theme this arc. The question of, is family something that's born or built? Goku, being the good-hearted person he is, believes Raditz. But his trust was misplaced, as Raditz betrays him and prepares to kill him, showing that for Saiyans, family is just a word. But luckily for Goku, his real family has his back. Gohan being the one to come to his father's rescue is quite the interesting reversal of roles. In the original Dragon Ball, Goku was always the guy you turn to when things get hairy. A huge part of his character arc was realizing when you decide to be a protector, you need the strength to make sure no one ever has to feel the pain of loss again. But now, Goku finds himself outgunned, needing to be rescued by the very person he came here to rescue. This plants the idea in his head early on that his son will be more equipped to handle threats too strong for even Goku himself. And handle it, Gohan does, as a single headbutt turns Raditz's ribs into dust. This weakens him enough for Goku to restrain him, answering the arc's question. Your family is whoever has your back when times get tough. End of story. In Saiyan nature, the nature that drove Saiyans to exterminate the whole planet, the nature that caused Saiyans not to care about their kids, the nature that brought Raditz to Earth in the first place, is defeated through the power of family sticking up for each other. That and a giant ki blast which turns his internal organs into an intensely boiled stew. This is not good. Goku has been killed by Piccolo. And we've been told that everyone killed by a demon can't rest in peace. Poor Master Muay is probably still stuck in limbo because of this. And now it's looking like a terrible fate awaits our main character. Luckily, he still has his bonus life, but he's been forced to waste it right before two much more powerful beings arrive on Earth. Which, they're now going to, thanks to Piccolo spilling the beans. Thanks for that, Big Green. Vegeta and Nappa's introductions are raw, with Vegeta literally chowing down on the corpse of his last victim. That thing may not be human, but it was clearly humanoid, meaning this is too close to cannibalism for my liking. It makes it clear. These pseudo-cannibalistic dudes will not be coming to Earth with good intentions. The rest of the cast arrives on scene just in time to watch Goku get ghosted. You know, if someone brought a Senzu, this all could have been avoided. Then again, Goku wouldn't have learned the Kaioken and Spirit Bomb, which would have screwed them over in the following fights. So I guess it's a good thing the gang's gross negligence cost someone their life. With Goku gone, Piccolo takes charge of the sitch. It's very illuminating to examine Piccolo's headspace in this moment. Piccolo just did the thing he was born to do. Piccolo Sr. created him to kill Goku. And, well, Goku's pretty killed. Now he's basically one of those satellite probes you hear about that finishes its mission but keeps going until it loses power. With his goal accomplished, he can be whatever he wants to be. And with Goku out of the picture, no one in existence could stop him from dominating Earth. He doesn't though, because he knows there's no point in building something just to have a couple of space pirates knock it down. So he goes off for more training. And maybe after a third round of self-improvement, he'll have a eureka moment. He also yoinks little Gohan along the way. Wow, Goku's corpse wasn't even cold yet and Gohan's already seeing another dad. Little ingrate. All I'll say is that we should just be glad Gohan's human DNA didn't completely tone down the Saiyan ADHD DNA. Because without that one-track mind most Saiyans have, Krillin is right, Gohan would have definitely become the Joker. Speaking of Gohan's dad, he's currently fast passing the line in the afterlife, which is odd because he should be in limbo. Goku not being trapped as a lost soul for eternity indicates something might have changed in Piccolo, but we'll examine that more next video. Getting to see Dragon Ball's afterlife in depth for the first time is huge. We got a sneak peek of it in the fortune teller Baba saga. She gets name dropped in this arc, by the way. But while Toriyama used to have to stay on theme with the whole journey to the West aesthetic, now he's free to go full throttle ahead. He can have Goku encounter any number of new things here in the afterlife. And he does, with the first one being King Enma. King Enma is a cool character. We've talked ad nauseum about how being big is symbolic in the world of Dragon Ball, and his towering figure, combined with the rage you can only know from being a desk worker, makes him an intimidating figure to have mad at you. I do wish we could have gotten to see more from Dragon Ball's afterlife. It's like an entire library of untapped content just waiting to be explored. Clearly the animators felt the same, as they made one of the best received filler arcs in history focus on the afterlife. Even with the little improvements the anime made, I still think there's room for more. We could have gotten some long-deceased alien species, bitter that they got wiped out, plotting revenge. There could have been a species with martial arts techniques long lost to time, a la the Metamorphs. This could have even been how we get more info on Yamoshi, the original Super Saiyan god, who would definitely make for a killer fighter for Goku to take on in the main story. While Otherworld may have been a bit hollow in the content department, this is the best bit of humor Dragon Ball has had in a while. Kami getting bossed around and being scared of Enma, when up until now we've only known him as this superimposing authority figure, is hilarious. There's also the numerous ways Goku is befuddled by Snake Way, and the incoming Blueberry. All of this makes it clear, while martial arts was where Toriyama shined, he had a knack for humor that he couldn't shake. And that knack shines through with him telling us Raditz dropped straight down to the home for infinite losers the instant he set foot in front of Enma. Probably shouldn't have committed that casual homicide if you planned on dying today. With everyone having to prep for the upcoming Saiyan invasion, they know their mission: to get stronger. Before Raditz arrived, Kami was the third strongest character in the series. So the fact he's scared of being bullied by King Enma shows that the afterlife is full of people with power we haven't even seen yet. And the person Goku is going to get training from is even stronger than Enma still. He could potentially be top of the verse behind the Saiyan invaders. Either way, it's a great bit of hype to close off the first arc in the new era of Dragon Ball. And what a new era it is, with the biggest change perhaps being Toriyama's art style. Toriyama started changing his art style around the time that Goku grew up, and the change is most noticeable in his anatomy. Gone are the days of the super petite and frumpy characters that characterized early Dragon Ball. Well, we still see ghosts of this style in certain panels, but the characters have much more defined proportions and articulated joints. We can also see that the sharp jawlines have started to settle in, which is most noticeable in the characters' side profiles. The Vegeta Saga would be the last arc that Toriyama needed to perfect the style that would reign for the rest of the series' run. This arc was also where Toriyama coined the style that would define the Saiyans. We get introduced to our 4 new Saiyans this arc: Gohan, Raditz, Vegeta, and Nappa. The fact that all of them, including Goku, have black hair would make that the template for Saiyans moving forward, with every following Saiyan having black hair except for Trunks. But Trunks' different colored hair just does more to further the theme of how much of a fish out of water he is. Along with the Saiyans comes their iconic Frieza Force armor. This was one of the most influential fits in the series. It went on to influence every Frieza Force soldier design, every Vegeta design, every Bardock design, and would even be used as a symbol for Goku's attitude towards his Saiyan heritage changing. Its design was based on an armor that was seen in the hit 70s manga Marzinger Z, which Dragon Ball drew heavy inspiration from. Huh? Its design is perfect for an invading enemy, with the huge shoulder pads and segment around the abs giving it the appearance of a monster coming to get you. The design was so iconic, it got a shout out in the MCU, with the character Killmonger's armor being based off it. Another thing that debuted this arc is the special beam cannon. You might be thinking, Rambles-on, You can't seriously be about to go English teacher on a ki blast, are you? It's a ki blast. Every character technically uses this move, just with a different name. Well, I am, because there's something here actually worth examining. We know during the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai, Piccolo struggles greatly to defeat Goku, with his strongest attack not even ruffling Goku's hair. The special beam cannon was created specifically to pierce Goku's defenses, with the attack itself having two parts. First, a straight ki blast, and second, a corkscrew-shaped blast of ki designed to wear down the place of impact where the first ki blast hit, making it weak enough for the attack to penetrate. It's cool that after watching his opponents bend ki blasts and use them in cool ways, Piccolo figured out a creative way to shake ki that gives him the edge in combat. And so, the Raditz Saga draws to a close. I know a lot of people think Raditz was a wasted character, but I don't. He served his purpose brilliantly, which was to introduce the audience to what a full-blown Saiyan was like, and show that Goku is rejecting his Saiyan heritage in favor of sticking to his guns as an Earthling. Lots of people wonder why Goku wouldn't grab the Dragon Balls and wish Raditz back to life so he could be with his brother, but the reason Goku wouldn't do that is the same reason it's a bad idea for the story. Raditz is a bump. He didn't take fighting seriously, and he was a POS to his own family. It's the same reason why they left Paragus dead at the end of the Broly film. And, if we're being honest, Goku probably wouldn't have gone out of his way to revive Vegeta either if Vegeta wasn't saved by one specifically worded wish. Raditz's decision was pretty clear. Family meant nothing to him, so Goku shouldn't bother trying to win him back over. That's the true spirit of this arc. Your family is who you choose, so make sure you pick people worth sacrificing for. To avoid this video being movie length, I've decided to break up the Saiyan saga based on antagonists. We'll be back next time with the Vegeta saga, and the Prince of all Saiyans, whose story of redemption is perhaps Goku's biggest success to date. Make sure to like and subscribe if you don't want to miss it, and drop a comment down below letting me know what you thought of the video. I love engaging with all my fans and receiving feedback for future videos. And if any of you out there are sad about classic Dragon Ball and the days of mischievous Kid Goku being behind us, don't worry, because I have a project coming next I think you're gonna like. Until then, I've been Rambles-on. Don't forget to work hard, study well, and eat and sleep plenty. Peace. Calling all Saiyans. Do you want to power up your viewing experience? Now's your chance to raise your power level higher than ever before with our Super Saiyan memberships. For only 99 cents, take your viewing experience from basic to super, with early access to new videos, exclusive streams that can only be viewed with Super Saiyan eyes, and loyalty badges displayed next to your username to show off your Saiyan pride. So what are you waiting for? Buy a Super Saiyan membership today for only 99 cents.